I'm G. Paul, and we are Behind the Scales. Today, I have the great privilege of having two awesome men from our industry and in life in general, Chris Eaton and Jay Kapps, with us. And we're going to be today concentrating on deeds, not words, too, and helping to raise money for our disabled veterans and first responders at Camp Freedom or for Camp Freedom. So we're going to go ahead and bring those two gentlemen out, and we thank you everyone for tuning in today. Hello, gentlemen.
What's up, Mr. Paw?
Good evening.
Everything good on the white sand Emerald Coast of Florida down here?
Yes.
No, someone said they had snow flurries and a blizzard. I said, well, if I look outside, I see white for miles and miles, but it's called sand, not snow.
Yeah, no, it's maybe gotten to 60 a couple of days here. Maybe. All right. So it's still, in the 30s and 40s.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a shit place to live. We have like 11 good days a year here.
Right.
The rest of the days are just either it's too hot or too cold or too depressing or too. No, it's horrible.
We can find you. We can find you somewhere in the South.
Yeah, well, that's where we're looking. We're looking Tennessee. I want to see if there's a possibility of seeing Bigfoot in my backyard. So want to move by the Smoky Mountains and go from there. So, but I'll move to Pennsylvania too because right by Camp Freedom there's a shit ton of Bigfoot sightings in Pennsylvania because it starts the Appalachian Trail in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I grew up in the Appalachian Mountains and things, and my nephew now lives outside of Knoxville in a place called Rocky Top.
Right, I know where that is.
His wife just she's a GM for Cracker Barrel, and they sent her to that store, so they moved from Kentucky to there. But he loves it because he can be in Pigeon Forge in like 30, 45 minutes.
Right. You know what I just realized is that you sound like cornbread if cornbread could talk.
Probably so.
Right, you're definitely down south, man.
I tell people I'm as redneck as you can get, or country, or whatever you want to call it. I don't care what the words are. That's who I am.
Yeah, no, country is better than city. I'll tell you that.
Shauna, I live in Pensacola, Florida, which is hour and a half from Panama City. Shauna was asking where at in Florida I lived at.
Yeah, she's down in Jesus Christ, I can't even think of it now.
Panama City.
No, she used to be in Panama City. Now she's about an hour from Daytona. West Palm. Well, West Palm Beach. Yeah.
My great uncle. Well, my uncle used to be the postmaster general in West Palm Beach, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a nice area down there, So, but it's definitely better than here. I'll tell you that.
Well, Chris, before we get started on this, how's your health doing? How things holding up? How are you holding up?
Yeah, holding up. As good as can be. I have days on and days off, and
definitely
when I have days off, Jake calls and checks on me. Shauna calls and checks on me. A few people, Paul from Large March. So yeah, I'm in capable hands.
It's good to have people who care, right? Isn't it?
Yeah.
People that are genuine and care.
Oh yeah, I thank God that none of this happened to me in LA because if I had to deal with my dumb musician friends having to figure out how to take care of me at all, yeah, I'd be dead.
I'm sure they could got you some good drugs.
Yeah, well, that's just saying the drugs ain't bad, right?
Right. I have to use them myself for pain on occasion because I had an accident at work, and it wasn't an accident. It was just work revolves, and I got segmented in.
Right.
How you doing, Jay? Besides being busy as hell,
That's about it.
you can tell an important man with integrity because they stay busy and they're always doing something with it for other people. And that's who Jay seems to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Jay does not play around. Okay.
Pretty
So
busy yesterday.
yeah,
Well,
the one of the reasons that I picked Jay is because Jay really proved early that he dots all the I's and crosses all the T's just like I would,
exactly. Well, how did the idea of deeds not words evolve originally?
So every year, Chris does a few months out of the year where he'll pick a organization and he'll promote whatever items that they're pushing. And the first year I think was Tilvahala, and then the second year was Hero bracelets, and then the third year it started out as a chat, and I had this idea already formulated, and I said, well, why don't we just do our own thing? That way we have more control over it and we know where all the money is going. At that point, we didn't have an organization to represent, and then Camp Freedom is like 20 minutes from my house, so
Right.
I threw that out there. The shirt idea, and it just kind of grew from there. Chris threw some ideas in and changed a little bit of my original idea, and it just grew into what it is.
Yeah, it was more about keeping control of what goes where, because even with these companies like Till Valhalla and Hero Company, that there has to be administrative cost. They have 30 and 40 person teams. We have a 10-person team at most, and the team really doesn't deal with any of the numbers and all that. That's just me, Jay, and Shauna. So we know where everything's going. So if we make $5,000, we know that Camp Freedom gets $5,000. So that's the one part about it that was really attractive about knowing, because we sold a lot of shirts through Till Valhalla. I mean, if you go back 3 years ago, everybody was posting Till Valhalla shirts, but we didn't know how many,
Right.
So we sold a couple of grand minimum in shirts, but we didn't get any type of, not that we need credit for it, but we didn't get any type of, hey, this is where your money's going, and we couldn't show people. Now we can account for every dollar that comes in.
Yeah, it's hard to have accountability doing it the other way, for sure.
Yeah, because it's just, I mean, even if we sold $3,000, let's say, for Till Valhalla shirts, that they sell 500 shirts a day, so we couldn't tell. And also with donating straight to Camp Freedom, we went there and dropped off a check, and so we knew and they knew where every dime went, came from. So
yeah, sure. And that's important. I don't think when we're supporting charities and things that we give enough thought to what happens with the money we're giving them.
Yeah, the administrative is torture,
I know I mentioned it a couple of times before. We did build a special edition AR-15 and raffled it off, and we built 2 of them. And we chose Soldiers Angels. This was back during the pandemic, and someone had asked about Wounded Warriors and this and that kind of thing, but there's so many of those organizations that maybe not 2 or 3 cents on the dollar ever get to where the people you're wanting to help begin with.
Right. Yeah.
And, that's not good in my book.
Just think of organizations like Humane Society,
Yeah,
and
Red Cross.
like you could donate $10 to charity, and maybe $1 goes to the actual charity. The rest pays for secretaries and pays for marketing and everything else. So
100%. Well, how's things working so far this year? The campaign going well? We are above ahead of schedule, on schedule,
yeah, we're almost at half the amount after a month and 10 days.
right?
So we're really doing well this year. So I'm pretty sure we're going to be able to hit our goal this year. I mean, we're just going to hit it no matter what. That's we don't have any other choice to hit it because we have to hit it. We threw out that number, and we're going to hit it. So there aren't any excuses.
We can just get Sammy together and get about 8 people with him in pink shirts and send them city to city.
Dude,
And
let me tell you, Sammy has been a gold mine for this charity. I mean, Sammy is one of the best at soliciting donations and making people feel like they're the only people in the room.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of people on the team, like HJS, Large Marge, Sugar Skull, Sammy. They all. I mean, HJS stepped up to the plate, and we didn't even know them that well.
Right.
We know them really well now. But I mean, they just they came on board and they killed it. I mean, they went to every show except the Albany show, I believe, right?
And what's also pretty crazy, they're not veterans and they're not first responders. So
Right.
that kind of shows that they care
They're
because they're
American.
outside of the bubble.
That's what Americans should be.
Yeah.
Of course, people don't like to take my butt.
That's the one thing I could say about Jay and I and basically the whole team. Unapologetically American.
100%.
Yeah. So
For sure. It's near and dear to my heart. My father spent 2 tours in Korea and came home and died in 1970 of black lung. I was like 4 years old, so it was important to him. So, helping support these kind of things and the things I do kind of helps me honor his memory, if you will.
Right. Yeah, my father is a vet too. I'm a little older than you, so my father was Vietnam, and but my father wasn't in Vietnam. He was he had top secret crypto clearance. Back then, crypto didn't mean Bitcoin. Yeah, Yeah. So I believe my father worked at Cheyenne Mountain and upstate New York a lot. He was there because he stayed in for a couple of years after his enlistment was over as well. So
Right. Yeah, the wife just mentioned one of our sons is spent 8 years in the Air Force. He's still there. I guess he has to be in reserves for a little while, and then he's working as a contractor now, but he's doing the same job in the same seat in the same place he was at before.
Right. Yeah.
Just makes more money.
Right. Yeah. Well. I believe Danny Cadena, who's on the team from Chain Reaction, still does everything that he did while, in the service. He just does it, for a regular job now. He's just, he's not active in the service. And Danny's one of those great guys too, who just, I mean, literally the guy, anything you ask of him, I mean, he'll throw ideas out, to you. We got some great people this year who last year was just like, yo, I just want to help this year,
Well, that's where the wife and I are at. We kind of wish we were somewhere closer to the big shows and different things where we could actually go out and help more in that area. We got some small ones here, but they're kind of
It doesn't matter the size of the show. This
I know
could be
that.
done at any show. This could be done on the street. I mean, Sammy has gone around to restaurants and VFWs and posted up flyers. And I mean, it's a true grassroots, boots on the ground type of thing.
Yeah, and honestly, it's made shows fun again for me. You know, I haven't been to shows since we shut down Eyeballs, and I went to the occasional show just to visit friends. But to have a booth set up and not have to worry, you know, whether you sell anything or whether you're just there to get donations for veterans and first responders. So it's definitely made the shows more fun. You know, especially with guys like Jay and Paul and Kevin and Sammy and HJS on the team. It's like we always roll in 8-10 people deep, you know. So
Sure.
so it's more like a team effort this year. We also have multiple people all over the country that are going to be soliciting on at various shows. So we'll be at Pomona, we'll be in Texas. Matter of fact, I just boxed up Deeds Not Words kits that I'm sending out this week for everybody.
Cool.
Mm.
We're going to cut off for a little commercial here, and we'll be right back.
Mm.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Operation Deeds, Not Words 2 is dedicated to empowering and uplifting disabled veterans and first responders through unwavering support, meaningful resources, and real opportunities that honor their service and sacrifice. Our mission is to build a thriving, impactful organization driven by the shared vision, commitment, and accountability of our team, because when we work together, there is no ceiling on what we can accomplish.
We are equally committed to the growth of our team members, actively encouraging them to expand their voices, followings, and businesses as essential pillars of our mission. Being part of Operation Deeds, Not Words reflects great credit upon our members, uniting communities in the Fat Man Nation, Green Line Morphs under a shared purpose rooted in service, resilience, and action-driven impact. Deeds, not words.
ReptileAds.com is the modern marketplace for buying and selling reptiles, amphibians, and exotic pets. Built by Purple Turtle Technologies, we're creating the most trusted platform in the industry. Join thousands of breeders and collectors on the most trusted reptile marketplace. List your animals, connect with buyers, and grow your business with Reptile Ads. Enjoy our easy access to stores as well as a genetic calculator for your convenience. Stop by and check us out today.
Thank everyone out in the chat today too, all for being here. And I generally don't go through member person by person because I want to spend time with the guests, but you are valued, and I do go back and read all your comments and try to answer them after the fact. So I know we can help, buying t-shirts, tier 2 sponsorship, tier 3, whatever that we got there. A lot of people have time and don't have money. How can they help with their time, Chris, Jay?
Well, I mean, they could just, put a display at their table. We're not asking for half the table. We're asking for a corner of the table, to put things up. Plus, what we're trying to do is we're trying to send out actual black T-shirts. We're selling exclusive black T-shirts at the shows. We're trying to get T-shirts to people to let them, sell there, and they could solicit donations, at the shows either, too. I know Sean Gray wants to put up a, fairly big display at all the herp shows, for this. And Sean Gray is intimately involved in this whole thing because his daughter is our artist,
Right.
know. So.
She does a
Not only
tremendous
that,
job
but
as well.
you could even spread it on social media. Like you contact me. I have plenty of flyers and reels that are universal. They could be posted at any time, and just to keep spreading it through the timelines.
Right. Well, definitely send me some of those, and we'll do one every few days or whatever from here as well.
Yeah, I
And,
put together a folder on Google Drive. I could send you to access to that, and that's all the official imagery and a couple reels, and we'll update it as it goes by, because I know Chris is making more reels and stuff.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, my goal is for everybody to just get so sick of seeing this that they just pick up a shirt. You know,
Yeah,
you don't like me or Jay, that's fine, you know, but still support the vets. I mean, you know, the vets don't have a big mouth like me and Jay do.
It's not about us, it's about them.
Right. I feel stupid saying this because I was never in the military, but you know, it's mission first with this. You know, it's like it doesn't matter who's putting out the word, as long as the word gets out there. You know,
right.
So,
well, I think it's always important, but I think right now it should be at the forefront of everyone's mind, whether how you feel about it or not doesn't matter. But with situations going on with our military right now and Iran and different places going on, we're going to have people from that right now, new people that need our help.
Yeah.
And that list is only going to expand. It's not going to get smaller. We're going to be constantly having more people that needs our help. And you know, we couldn't do this podcast. We couldn't breed snakes. We couldn't do anything if it wasn't for the men and women who go out there and sacrifice their time and their lives every day for us so that we can do these things.
Yeah. Well, I think Limey said it best. You know, just be cool, be nice to people. You have no idea what people are going through. And you know, I learned from my time in rehab and everything else that there's always people that have it worse. You know,
100%.
So,
100%. I've had to spend probably in the last 10 years. I spent 3 years in physical rehab, so I understand a little bit about it. And you know, you always get the ones I've been in also serve as nursing homes, I guess. Here they have them inside of nursing homes for in-care, in-home,
Right.
you know, inpatient kind of thing. And you know, whether it's that little old lady that you see walking the hallways looking for her kids, you know, carrying a baby doll. There's so many people out there who need our help. And just because you see a little old lady walking down the hallway and that seems it's sad and all, she may have been one of those nurses back in World War II or whatever taking care of your family.
Well, yeah. And the thing is, when I was in rehab, you know, I learned real quick. Like, how am I going to complain? You know, I'm missing a leg. You know, how am I going to complain to the guy that got an arm, a leg, and his face blown off?
Right.
Or was in a car accident. Like, I can't complain to that guy. You know, that guy doesn't give a shit. You know what I'm going through. So, you know, it's just our job. You know, my uncle right now is in a vet's nursing home, and you know, you see everybody there, and you just want to help people. How you could see people going through this shit, even the first responders and the firefighters and the cops that you know get disabled in the line of duty. How you could not help them is beyond me. You know. You know, you want to donate to US Ark, that's fine. You know, you want to donate to people, you know, their right to, you know, keep reptiles. I'm not saying that's not a good cause, but this is a cause that we could see real world impact in what we do, you know.
100%.
So,
Yeah, and if it wasn't for these men and women, US Ark wouldn't have anything to fight for.
yeah.
Bottom line. One of the things that I've thought about too is, and I know that Morphs is doing their part for sure, but in a lot of our podcasts and things, we have things where we give things away, and you know, Morphs coins or this and that. You earn credit on different shows for things like that, and some shows those are backed by real dollars. So if you've got something else like that, those with your name on it, one of these shows or one of these breeders out there, talk to them and I'm sure they will be glad to donate that to Deeds Not Words as a donation
Yeah,
in your name as well.
we already got Forge coin donations from Morphs.
Right.
You know, yeah.
I encouraged that the night I was on there. You know, it's not going to cost you anything. You got it for free. Give it back to these people if you can. Definitely one of the most worthwhile missions that I've seen in a long time out there.
I honestly can't believe that we're still the only ones doing any type of vet program, you know, or campaign in the reptile hobby.
Right.
I mean, you know, like everybody should be taking part in this. You know, if you can't afford a shirt, donate $5. You got $5. If you pay, you know, for Netflix every month, I think me and Jay give you better entertainment than Netflix, honestly. So,
100%.
you know, throw $5, you know, into the hopper. It all helps, you know, hitting towards that $10,000 goal. And we're not stopping with 10,000. Obviously, if we hit more, you know, we're going to donate that. It's just going to encourage us to do more next year, you know?
Yeah.
100%.
There's always room for improvement and always ways to go bigger and better, you know, even for an individual level, you know, everybody could always do better than they did yesterday.
100%. We can always give a little bit more effort or do it more efficiently in some way or manner. What has there been anything easier this year because of experience than it has been in the past, or if you get where I'm going?
Oh yeah, for first year we didn't know what we were doing. It blew up to you know to a decent amount, but we were definitely flying more by the seat of our pants. You know, this year, I mean, Jay started it last year. He started putting teams together in July of last year. You know, so once February came, you know, we hit the ground running, and you know, we had to wait on certain things like we get a lot of work done for free from printers and you know t-shirt companies and things like that, but you know, so it takes time to get that, because when somebody's doing something for free, you can't be like, hey, I need those things tomorrow. Yeah, you know. But we had teams put together since July of last year, I believe.
Right.
We're already planning for things for next year. Like,
Yeah.
me and Chris have talked. I got a bunch of ideas for next year, and you know, how to expand the collective team, and you know, who I have ideas of who I want to pull into it and make a part of this.
That's great. I haven't heard anything, so that's why I'm going to ask. We have a great following in the community through all the podcasts and different things, and it was a tremendous event that we were able to help BOSA. But has anyone thought about or talked to you guys about putting together an auction type sort of thing or way to raise money in the same kind of?
Sammy and the RWO, they have an auction that's planned for, I believe, April, maybe May. I'm not sure of the exact timeline.
Okay.
But it's not a Deeds Not Words auction. It's an RWO auction, and they just happen to want to donate the money to, you know, to the operation.
Right.
Yeah, Clarence from Morphs is going to do a one-off auction. You know, we just spoke about it yesterday or last night, and you know, he wants to do something. A lot of people want to do something. A lot of people are stepping up with just cash donations too. You know, the bigger breeders tend to, you know, give anywhere from $250 to $1,000, and you know, the real fun part is getting like let's say a guy like Justin last year gave $1,000, right?
Right.
JT from Reptile, who's also a vet, found out Justin gave $1,000 and JT gave $1,005. You know, just to say like, fuck it, he did more than Justin. You know, so
Right.
so it's a fun thing too, and you know, when you donate at that level, you get, 4 free T-shirts. I guess it's not free with the donation, but you get a military coin, you get a drawing of you, you get a bunch of things that you could use in your marketing. Like HJS has been like the king and queen of using their character drawings in their marketing. They do it all year round.
They have their characters on their banner.
Yeah, exactly. Paul from Large Marge redid his logo with his character, ad in it. So it makes it fun. It makes it fun, and it's always cool to get a little avatar of you, that you could use, because a lot of people, they're not nailing down the marketing as it is. Right. And at the very minimum, we shout everybody out on our pages. We get a bunch of views on that, and but Brian Bodie, Shane Kelly. I mean, these are guys that donated at the higher levels and still bought shirts, and still bought beanies, and they're doing videos. And Ashley from Catalina Morphs, Morph Mixer is doing reels and videos. So it's really cool to see it organically growing, where people just want to do, like, we're not asking them to do, real specific, for this thing. They're just doing it. And that's the fun part of this.
That's the cool part, because it's like 15 minutes of lame. That's marketing yourself, campaigning for yourself. It's the same thing here, like you could learn through people's in those groups, different things about marketing.
100%. I agree. Well, I was thinking about it, and the wife and I actually talked about it a little bit. We're not vending anywhere, but we have probably in the next 3 or 4 months, 4 local shows here. I mean, I have no problem renting a table at one of them and, just showing up and having information about Deeds Not Words too, and talking to people and things.
Well, that's the thing. What a lot of these promoters are doing, they're just giving us the tables. They're finding out it's for disabled vets and first responders, and they'll just give us a table. And what we'll do for anybody local, we say give us 2 tables, and we'll go live all day and interview people at the shows. Mm-hmm. And
Gettysburg in 2 weeks.
Yeah, we're doing Gettysburg on the 28th, I believe, of March.
So we'll have at least 4 tables: the Deeds table, the Fat Man table, my table, Sammy's table, and we're all next to each other. So we pretty much have like half the aisle.
Yeah, they pretty much Gettysburg. It is a home show for Jay. I consider it a home show for us. They really treat us like gold there, and they're giving us an island, So it's definitely Albany last year, they gave us a table. Nassau, they gave us a discounted table. It's just been a lot of fun, because at the end of the day, you could see. You can see what you've accomplished,
100%. Yes, sir. Well, we're going to have another break real quick, and when we get back, I want to talk more in depth about Camp Freedom itself and their mission and what they do and those kind of things.
Yes. How many sponsors?
Introducing the Python Portal, a ball python breeder who works on snow and true ghost combos, as well as the Tiger Dean.
We also offer many unique custom 3D printed accessories, as well as custom merch, so don't forget to stop by and check us out.
I think you was asking me how many sponsors do I have?
All of them.
All of them. Yeah.
Chris is muted, I think.
Yeah, Chris, you're muted. You're muted.
There he goes. Nope, he's muted again.
No, I don't know why that's happening. Let's see.
Oh, okay.
No, you're good now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's like, it was
I
probably
was just saying that your Dirty Bay ad, you're using music that I used for one of my commercials from like 3 years ago.
okay.
Yes.
Actually, Will at Python Portal makes those for me.
Yeah, Will is awesome. Yeah. Will's part of 15 Minutes this year.
Oh, definitely. He's a good guy too. I really love him. He's helped support us with 3D printed items, things like that. You know, deli cup holders and hides and things such for our animals here. And then Dirty Bay helps me with snakes that we get, that we donate to veterans and things like that. So
Right.
I did get approached to for someone else to be a sponsor this week. It's one of these companies who make fake snake food is what I'm going to call it.
Oh, the sausage.
Yeah, it wasn't Reptilink, but this looks like it comes in a freeze-dried bag. It looks like a turd.
Mm.
And my snakes wouldn't even look at it.
That's yeah. Snakes are going to eat rats or ASFs or mice. I mean, they don't eat Doritos. They never will.
Right.
So.
Well, my thing with those is, and I'm not saying they're bad or anything else, but my opinion is anything that's processed seems to kill you. So it's probably not going to be good for them either.
Yeah.
It's probably better to just keep it simple.
Yeah, I got a whole garage out here full of rats and ASFs, so they're going to be fine. But so Camp Freedom, how did it started by, I guess, a entrepreneur who wanted to do something, is my understanding. But
Yeah, I
kind of
can't
elaborate
remember
on that.
that guy's
Will.
name. It was a couple, a husband and wife. They're pretty wealthy. They came upon the land, and they wanted to dedicate the land for something like this. And I guess that's when Matt Gatus he got linked up into it. And I mean, it's been around for, I think, like 10 years, something like that.
Mhm.
And it's just grew ever since.
What is their main purpose?
To get disabled vets out of a clinical setting, get them back into nature. Yeah, like I didn't realize, how big, just because I'm a fat dude, right? Like I didn't realize how big hunting and hiking and fishing means to people. Right. You lose your legs, you're like, I'm never going to hunt again, and that's not true, because Camp Freedom will figure out a way. They'll figure out a way to get you on a hunting trip. That they have buffalo and deer on the property. They have blinds set up, right? They have, I mean, the property is just massive.
Yeah.
I mean, it's you pretty much look out towards the hills, and they own all of that, and it's just to keep it running has to be this insane, massive undertaking. And that's something that the owners and the founders, they were like, we're not going to have time to run this. So they brought in Matt Gatus, who is just running everything. And this guy, I mean, there were about 1,000 people there when we were there.
Easily.
He treated us like we were the only people in the room.
Yeah.
They did interviews with us. They let us walk, let us go wherever they want. They let me ride in one of those tank wheelchairs. We went up to, there's a giant lake there. And we didn't see a quarter of it. And we were there all day, man. And it's a it's just a life-changing place. There's a vibe about it. These disabled vets, first responders, Gold Star families, you could see why it means so much to them, you know?
And a majority of the staff are veterans and first responders. So like even for me, like when I go to the VA, most of the time I'm dealing with civilians. No offense to civilians, but you just don't get it. You know, when you go to Camp Freedom, you feel like you're at home because everybody there gets it.
Right. They understand. And that's important, having people there. And it's great that we have those people there who are veterans and things who will donate their time to still help other people.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's
I mean, when we pulled in the parking lot. First thing we saw was some vet flying a drone, you know, and I was like, oh, I love this place already. You know, it was that they really made us. I mean, they set up a whole interview spot for us, you know, with a backdrop and everything. And, you know, we just got to make content all day, and making that content pushed along everything for this year, you know?
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it would be cool to, and you probably do somewhere, have it where I guess they've got an event going on and actually what they're doing with the veterans and things like that, if that would be, you know, something that they could provide with.
There was an event going on the day that we went, and it was almost like a flea market, I want to say, where people had tables set up.
Like veterans that make like wood crafts or patches, you know, all kinds of, there was probably 30 or 40 tables set up. And then there was the food vendors, and then there was like the little activities. They had axe throwing. I think there was a children's fishing contest happening that day. There's just so much stuff that goes on there. Their biggest thing is the hunts. Like a lot of people outside of what we're doing will donate money to them, and they'll use that money towards, you know, a hunt, or somebody could sponsor a veteran and pay for their hunt, you know, and they'll go out, you know, wheelchair, or if it's somebody that can walk, you know, they'll go out with one of the people that work there, and, you know, they'll just do hunting all day. Ducks.
Yeah, we want to make it clear that there are guides involved. We're not just sending people out hunting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Right. There are guides involved that know the property, know where you know, you know, a lot of the animals hang out. They have trail cams set up everywhere. It's, you know, like I said, you have to go there to appreciate it. We got lost going there. We drove for like what 10 or 15 miles. We were still on the property.
Yeah.
You know, and
Sasquatch definitely lives there.
So
Yeah,
they
yeah,
have a couple different gates that you could enter into, but the day that we went, I guess there was something happened where somebody snuck in through one of the gates, and they closed that gate down, and I think now there's only one gate, and that's the main gate.
They probably have not so scrupulous people try to get in there to kill their buffalo and things, I'm sure.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it. You know, I don't know how the hell you haul off a buffalo, but you know, I guess where there's a will, there's a way, right?
Unfortunately, most people who do those kind of things just want the picture and they don't care about the animal.
Yeah.
Trophy hunters, I guess.
Yeah, for the gram. All right.
Right. You know, I think the hardest thing for people, anyone who's disabled, it doesn't mean that you're missing legs or, you know, you're grossly disfigured and things. Many people who are disabled look completely normal and you couldn't tell anything about it because they don't understand. Like,
Technically, I'm disabled.
Right. You don't know what's going on in their heads either. And we see people today, and I've experienced it, and it's what hurts probably the most is if they can't see it, they don't think there's anything wrong with you. And that's a stigma I'd like to see broken. You know, it doesn't exactly affect us. It just something came to my mind. But everybody out there has a problem. They're fighting something and they're going through something. And just because you can't see it, don't mean it's not real. So
95% of veterans are diagnosed with PTSD.
100%.
And that's not just limited to combat arms. You know, I know people that they, you know, experienced something traumatic in basic training and never even went to combat. It's the whole institutionalization that you go through. You know, some people just can't take that, you know.
Well, we all have different strengths and things. One of my neurologists, when I started having seizures a few years ago, tried to explain it to me. Mine seemed to be stress induced. And he kind of put it like, to this one, explaining it is we all have a threshold, whether it's pain, physically or mentally or whatever. And once our body or our minds gets to that point and it exceeds that point, our minds and our bodies revolt and do crazy things. Is a bad way of putting it, but unexpected actions comes along. So, just because some person experiences it and some person doesn't make it not real. We all just have different thresholds in what we're going through in our life every day, kind of thing.
Well, I think you could have PTSD in a lot of forms. Like, imagine you've never been responsible for people, and then all of a sudden you're responsible for 30 people, right, whether they live or die because you sent them to the wrong coordinates. Like you imagine the stress that would take on a person, So yeah, we get it, but here's the thing. I'm not saying I don't miss the days where real men will just bottle it up inside, put it in that little folder in the filing cabinet in your head, and just say we're not going to talk about it. I'm not saying I don't miss those days, but I understand that some people go through so much in their head that I can't even imagine going through. My whole thing is I would be Private Joker, right, in Full Metal Jacket, right? Where Jay would be the drill sergeant, in Full Metal Jacket. So a lot of people could handle it. I'll tell you one thing. Listen, I'm not going to Iraq on vacation. There are people that do that. I didn't even know that was allowed. Okay. Jay got sent there. Jay's been in every, shithole in the Middle East. And, these people, I don't want to sound racist, but they live in caves, right? You can't even imagine how these people live day to day, where if my ice maker breaks down, I freak the fuck out, right? I immediately, have to get a new ice maker. I'm not gonna find a guy in a cave, all right, sleep outside for fucking 8 days while I'm looking for people. I can't even imagine the stress, that these people would, are going through, and that's aside from people who get their legs blown off or their arms blown off or their faces blown off, right? So this is such an easy way to help that I actually get angry when people don't help, because it's such an easy thing. These are all the people that ran towards the worst shit in life while everybody was running away from it. And for you to be like, no, I'm not going to spend $40 on a shirt, or I'm not going to donate $10. That is the height of selfishness for me. And believe me, there were some big breeders last year who did not donate. Okay. And I'm not going to call them out or anything, but I could tell you one thing. I'm not going to donate to their stuff, this year or last year, and I've been doing it religiously. I've been donating for causes, for the last 25 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's such an easy way to help, listen, if you don't help, you're an asshole, right? No, I'll say it.
I'll agree with you, Chris. It's just one of those things to me. If you can't support this mission, you're un-American.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, if they hurt your feelings, so be it. But there's no mission greater than taking care of the people who sacrifice their life every day in every way so that we can sit home and watch the NFL and eat steaks and drink milkshakes,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just, you don't have to agree with what our government does. You don't have to agree with any of that shit at all. I don't care how you feel politically, but how you feel about these men and women, first responders and things. And sometimes I think that, a first responder, they may have, it affects them differently. I won't put it that way. You send a military personnel off the war and they're killing people there in a foreign country that are trying to kill them. They're bad people. They know that. A police officer may pull over a car tomorrow and it'd be his mother having a complete breakdown and things go crazy. It's a lot more personal for them in some ways like that. And
in a way, I think it's worse for like first responders, like police officers. At least for us, we know who the enemy is over there.
Yeah, that's what I'm
over
getting
here. They look like everybody else.
Right.
Yeah, and guys like Mike Sachs, who's a fireman, I can't even imagine the stress that he's under.
He voluntarily goes into
runs into the fire.
Yeah. I won't flick the thing on the stove because I'm afraid that a little poof will blow up in my face. All right, Mike's running into fires every day. If you don't want to support that guy, then there's something wrong with you, because everybody calls the police, everybody calls the firemen. When the shit goes down, everybody calls EMS. I just don't get it. It's aggravating when people don't donate to something like this.
Well, and talking about the firemen, I've never been a fireman. When I was in high school, we had a club sponsored by the state that as juniors and seniors, we could sign up and join this club. And if it was a forest fire, we would get called out to go cut lines and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
They'd come get us at school and those kind of things. And I can tell you that fire is a living, breathing entity. Unfortunately, one of our friends that was in that with us, we were sent to burn back a line, and we were trained, we knew what to do and not to do, but for somehow he got lost in a pine thicket or whatever, and it went up around him, kind of thing. And
I was just reading your wife's comment about JROTC. I didn't know there was a shooting there. I've been through 5 cycles at JROTC.
Yeah. Well, there's always something going on, especially around here.
So JROTC is like, it's like Tigerland. That's where you go to train before you go into actual combat.
Got you. What can I know? We covered pretty much everything there, but tell everybody the easiest ways to be able to support Deeds Not Words Too, websites, social media, the whole nine yards.
Listen, if you see something in your feed advertising Deeds Not Words Too, just share it.
Yeah,
share it. I mean, that's the minimum. If you got $5 there's instructions on thefatmannation.com on who to PayPal it to. it's all going towards the goal of hitting the $10,000 for Camp Freedom. If you donate $5 on PayPal, PayPal charges me fees. I'll just cover the fees. All of it's going to go towards what what the mission here is for. So the whole Fat Man Nation thing, we're known for having a lot of fun, and we're known for joking around a lot. We're not goofing around with this. This is the serious part of the year. The end of the year where we do all the 15-minute stuff and all the fun stuff, that's fine. But for the first 6 months of the year, let's keep it serious, and let's support the people that go out there and risk everything every day. Like I said, it's such an easy thing to do, so share the thing, donate some money, buy a shirt. Shirt's pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
Got me and Jay on it, Sean on it. Yeah, it's
Plus all the veterans and first responder companies on the back of the shirts.
Yeah,
support those folks, and that's another thing. Like, I'm big on strengthening those communities.
Yes,
veterans and first responders. Like, I gravitate more towards veterans because we get each other. Doesn't matter if we had the same job or the same mission. We all were on the same team. So I like to strengthen those bonds and even create bonds with within that group.
Yeah, well, not only that, we have people on teams who are policemen, are firemen, are corrections officers. There's going to be somebody on the team here that you could relate to, and there's really not much to say. Like if you're going to give to one cause this year, this is the cause that's worth giving to. You want to give to another cause, of course, give to US ARC. We're not saying don't give to US ARC. What we're saying is that if you could afford $40 a year for US ARC, you could afford a $35 t-shirt, and you could afford to give $10, once, as opposed to US ARC, $5 a month. Like if you could afford one thing, you could afford another.
Not only that, but reposting is fucking free.
It's free. Yeah, it's free. So, listen, you guys want us to shut up about it? Let's hit that $10,000. We'll shut up before. All right, we'll shut up before July. All right, but
no.
We probably won't. Yeah,
and then you have 6 months where we don't talk about it, and then when that 6 months, then we're hitting the ground running again.
Right. Exactly.
You're not going to get rid of us.
Yeah. I mean, people have been trying to get rid of me for 10 years. I've been doing this dumb podcast. All right. People have been trying to get rid of me for 9 of those years. Okay. Obviously, I'm not, going anywhere. And this is, I mean, come on, guys. This is obviously a cause that you could give to. Where, like I said, if you don't like me or Jay, that's fine. You're not donating to me or Jay. You're donating to the first responders, the disabled vets. You're donating to the people that, like I said, ran into the shit instead of running away from it.
Right. And this should be personal for everyone in this country. We all know someone or are related to a military member or a first responder. And the sacrifices they make and the sacrifices they continue to make. And if you can't help that, you got a you problem.
I think in America we have 1.8 million veterans. One of them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
100%. Well, gentlemen, I want to thank you for coming on today. It meant a lot to me. hopefully that this will help push the mission forward a little bit in some way. Jay,
Yeah, thank you, brother. Thank you for having us on, man.
Jay, I appreciate your service. It means a lot to me. And you're talking about, Chris was mentioned earlier about the unseen pressures that you get a kid into the military, and after a couple of years, you give him 30 lives to be responsible for. I don't think people understand how deep that is ingrained into our military people, the care and the concern they have for their men. Only thing I have of my father's memories of that time was letters he wrote to family members, kind of thing. And I know that he came home after his first tour and was set to get out. And he was so overcome by grief and things that he left his men there, and they were still fighting, that he re-upped and went back.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that most military people feel that way. And that's something that you can't buy at Walmart or anything else. That's just love for the people and love for your teammate and your country. And I want to encourage everyone, whether you see one of these posts like Chris and Jay have said, reshare it, repost it. There's a way you can help. You can buy a shirt for $35. You skip a Happy Meal in a Starbucks. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, most of you fucking reptile people are overweight bastards anyway. You could skip the McDonald's for one day. All right, eat an apple and buy a shirt.
Do some PT too.
Yeah.
I understand that, and I need to do more of that myself. I'm getting there. But I did want to say one the other day. I don't know how the hell they call you fat man, because I'm at 6'4" and I've been up to 600 pounds. I was the fat man.
Oh no, dude, you're still a fat bastard. But I lost a ton of weight in the hospital, last year. So believe me, I'll gain it all back. All right, I'll eventually be the fat man again. But
I'm trying to avoid. I've lost 140 pounds in the last year.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome, man. Yeah, good for you, man.
All right, well, we're gonna zip out of here, and I got some other things to do today. I was working in my rodent room a little earlier, trying to set up watering systems and things. So I'll get back to that. And I appreciate you guys and the things you do for the community and the things you're doing for our veterans. I appreciate it, and it means a lot to me personally.
Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Thank you, everybody, for sticking around for the whole thing, man.
Everyone in the chat, we appreciate you. And hey, find a way and donate. See y'all next week.
Take it easy, guys.
Yes, sir.